Let's get out to Chris, one of our photographers. He's out driving, trying to navigate on these roadways.
Al Roca, good morning.
Tanya Harding knows how to throw a punch.
Cheers greet the resigned and convicted mayor as he takes his first breath of fresh air after 99 days locked up.
Governor Jennifer Granholm.
Delivered by Kid Rock, Richard Petty.
Academy Award-winning actress Hilary Swank.
All they wanted to see was George Clooney, literally across the street sipping coffee and talking to actor Ryan Gosling.
The Dalai Lama addressed climate issues and pollution.
The mayor, the former presidential candidate, Mitt Romney.
Michigan's new governor, Rick Snyder.
Lee Iacocca, the former CEO.
Michigan filmmaker Michael Moore in another showdown with General Motors.
It's Jay Leno.
I do want to thank my photographer, Chris Regner. He's standing in the rain.
Looking pretty good for 170, as Local 4's Roger Weber shows us, because one man is paying tribute to the general in more of a lifestyle.
Good morning.
Armstrong Custer, how do you do?
Roger Weber. Steve Alexander doesn't just act like Custer.
We have our formal dinners here, have a lot of the family in.
He lives like him. His pre-Civil War home in Monroe is covered with Custer memorabilia.
Well, this is interesting. This is my Civil War field desk. This is the desk that I had during the war.
Monroe is celebrating the general's 170th birthday with Alexander's help. He's been a Custer buff since he was a kid.
And sometimes how I am is not really an act. It's just that's who I've become.
He travels all over the country portraying the man who was killed in 1876 at the Battle of the Little Bighorn. He has posed for a Custer action model, mirrored Custer photos, and appeared in Custer documentaries.
A&E, the History Channel, Travel Channel.
Alexander often jumps to the defense of a man both revered and reviled.
Whether we were right or wrong in our treatment of the American Indians, he was a blunt tool that was our government's policy.
When Steve Alexander rented his first apartment in Monroe, he was thrilled to have a view of the Custer statue. And then in 1999, he made a move that brought him eerily close to the famous general. He purchased the actual home Custer lived in.
It just feels like this is where I was supposed to be.
The modern conveniences are hidden. Steve says after a long restoration, Custer's ghost would be quite comfy here.
It was all by our saving our own pennies and trying to do it ourselves.
The general took a short walk with me to a downtown tavern in the same building where Custer got plastered.
And then I staggered up the street here, up Monroe Street, past the good Judge Bacon's house, falling down in front of his house.
The judge said, "Stay away from my daughter," but Custer later married her. This weekend, Steve Alexander will share that and other stories and cut Custer's birthday cake with a sword. In Monroe, I'm Roger Weber, Local 4.
A wall of notes proves all these kids know exactly what's going on with their friend Ben. The way he looked last year, dramatically different than now. He's been through 2 surgeries, and his cancer is coming back. They're welcoming this little man back, not giving up his seat just yet, though it's only the second time he's sat in his 3rd grade desk at Meadowbrook Elementary. Benjamin Martin has been sleeping instead of going to class.
But he wants to go to school, but he just can't stay woke for school.
Ben's single mother is a nurse and a breast cancer survivor. Doctors told her that there's nothing more they can do to save her 8-year-old boy. Ben was diagnosed with glioblastoma in April.
They did radiation and oral chemo, and the tumor is back and is moving towards his brainstem.
A second child in class also wears a hospital bracelet, recovering from lymphoma, beating his cancer alongside Ben, whose inoperable brain tumor continues to grow. Classmates and teachers are bringing in receipts from recycled bottles to help pay for Ben to also have a chance to recover.
The kids are thinking about things that normally children don't have to think about and consider.
I can open it a little bit.
Nerve damage from surgeries keep him from fully opening his right eye, but he can see and shows off his wounds, knowing the battle is far from over.
I feel good because I like to see all of my friends and stuff.
It's the first and last time in a long time he'll see these friends again. Off to be homeschooled while trying out an experimental therapy in Texas. Expensive trials not covered by insurance.
I can tell, you know, people been praying for him because he's still moving and he's still going, you know, because he could be doing a lot worse. They think he should be doing a lot worse.
Natalie Sense, Local 4.
Local 4's Paula Tutman is live at one of 2 new shelters that are opening their doors today. Paula, these shelters are different in one very key way, keeping those families together.
They really are, because what you may not realize is when young boys turn 12, the moment they turn 12, they are separated from their mothers and sent to other parts of shelters. Thank you so much for joining us. Reverend Fowler's with Cass Community Services, and explain how Mom's Place 1 and 2, which is having its ribbon cutting today, is so different.
Well, Mom's Place 1 actually targets families with teenage sons to keep the families intact so that during the crisis they can lean on each other. Siblings and parents can be one unit and get through the crisis together.
We're going to take a walk. First of all, take a look at this library. This is the library. They also have a playroom. They've got a meeting room. We're going to take you up to one of the apartments because you also have services for these moms who have these kids.
Sure, we certainly help parents get their kids in school and academic help, and we help adults with substance abuse problems, vocational training, and job placement. We try and arrange services that are comprehensive, a wraparound for the women and the children.
And we're moving into one of these apartments where you actually have someone who's actually living here. She's able to live here with her teenage son, Shelly Smith. Good morning. Good morning to you. You have been sober for 6 months, you were telling me. Tell me how Mom's Place is really helping you out.
It's helping me. It's giving me a chance to be a successful person in life and to have my kids back.
You said you've never seen any of your kids grow up. This is the first baby that you've seen because you've been sober.
Yes.
That must be so meaningful to you. You have 2 teenage boys. She actually tried to get into another shelter, was not able to do that. And basically what you're doing, Reverend Fowler, is you're helping these women get back into life instead of existing on the periphery, right?
Oh, it's a whole new start, not only for the mothers, but the whole family gets a new start at life.
Which is absolutely incredible. So you've got a waiting list already. They're having their ribbon cutting this morning. Cass Community Services, working for the community. Once again, congratulations. Shelly, thank you for sharing your story with us. Coming up later at 6 o'clock, we're going to introduce you to another family and show you more about this amazing facility. But it's really something to see, isn't it?
Oh, it certainly is, Paula. Thank you for sharing. We look forward to checking back in with you again.
Police are confirming to Local 4 the 3 victims were at this club for a memorial for someone who was killed just a year ago. Then they walked just a short half block to where their car was parked when their lives ended abruptly.
Yeah, her life gone. She got 5 bullets to the face. For what? Why?
Witnesses have told police the killer used an assault rifle, possibly an AK-47. He didn't even speak to the victims. When they got into the car, he blasted away, then ran away. The victims are 2 men, ages 28 and 25, and a 17-year-old girl.
She was in the club. She left the club. Somebody had a beef with, I don't know who, whatever. She got in the car. They shot the car up.
This is the victim's car. All of the windows shot out. Another car just caught in the rapid crossfire. Residents who live near Algonac and 7 Miles say they hear gunshots all the time, but this morning was different, way different. They would only talk with us if we didn't show their faces. They have kids of their own.
I heard this morning about 40 or 50 gunshots. It was fast, pretty fast. You could tell it was an automatic weapon.
If it ain't Thursday, it's Friday. If it ain't Friday, it's Saturday. Now somebody dead.
This is one of the surveillance cameras on the outside of the nightclub. Police are checking to see if there's any surveillance tape available that may lead them to the killer. In Northeast Detroit, Jim Kurtzner, Local 4.
A local woman agreed to let us follow her through her robotic surgery to show you how robots are lending a hand. Now, a little warning, though. This is still surgery, so if you're squeamish, you may need to look away in a minute.
Back pain, leg pain, cramps.
41-year-old Stephanie Littleton of Detroit has been suffering severe pelvic pain for the past 2 years. After trying various medications and treatments, this mother of 2 is having surgery.
Periods lasting over 4 months at a time.
So we decided that we better go this option because the other medicines were not working.
She wanted definitive therapy. She wanted removal of her uterus and possibly her ovaries if they don't look normal.
OB-GYN Dr. Mona Arati will perform Stephanie's surgery at Henry Ford Hospital using the Da Vinci robotic system. Arati recommended a robotic-assisted laparoscopic hysterectomy for Stephanie. The benefits include a shorter hospital stay and
the amount of pain, amount of bleeding is much less than an open hysterectomy or even a vaginal hysterectomy. The recovery time is shorter.
In the operating room, the surgeon actually sits at the robot's controls several feet from the patient. Instead of a large incision, this surgery is performed through 4 to 6 small holes. The surgeon moves the instruments with hand and foot controls guided by a high-tech camera.
You have a lot more visualization. There's a 10 times magnification, and also your hand movements are magnified 3 times. So for every centimeter that I move my hand, the robot takes that down to 1/3 of a centimeter.
The added precision makes minimally invasive surgery an option for more patients.
The robot allows me, first of all, to take care of more complicated cases laparoscopically.
Doctors at Henry Ford are using robotic procedures for a variety of pelvic problems, including endometriosis, uterine fibroid removal, ovarian cysts, and to break down scar tissue. Stephanie hopes the surgery will finally bring her relief from her symptoms.
I'm not saying that this is something that you should just jump into. It's something you really should look into. But if it's the last option, I think it's the best one.
Stephanie spent 2 days in the hospital. She's now recovering at home and says she's doing well.
Something else. Michigan against Michigan State. They play each other every year, but this time it's outside hockey. Katrina Hancock has more from Ann Arbor.
When Michigan and Michigan State drop the puck tomorrow, it's definitely going to be the most electric atmosphere in NCAA hockey history.
But I think when we first walk down that tunnel and hear the roar and see the crowd, and that it'll really start to sink in. But then as soon as the whistle blows and the game starts, it'll just be hockey from there on out.
It's going to be a great experience, not for us, but just for the fans, too, to come out here, play an outdoor rink like this. We're going to look forward to the experience.
3 weeks of preparations are complete, and they are ready for every element from Mother Nature.
Snow, rain, wind, all those things. We're actually meeting with the league offices and both coaches this afternoon. We'll have a plan for every single scenario, no matter how far-fetched it is.
For the fans sitting up here, don't worry, you won't miss any of the action.
The fans won't have a bad seat. I mean, they'll know exactly what's going on the ice, and that's the amazing thing. When you put a hockey rink in a football stadium, you'd think they're too far away, but the sight lines in this building are really good.
The drama and buildup to this game has created quite a buzz all over the state.
To bring it to a magnitude of this size is unbelievable. To be 110 to 115,000 people here tomorrow, and I mean, it's going to be rocking.
When you look up tomorrow and you see over 100,000 people, what will that be like?
Well, it'll be great. I've been a fan. I've been at games. It's not the first time this stadium's been full, obviously, but it's the first time any stadium's ever been this full for hockey. So as a hockey person, it's going to blow everybody away.
When the Wolverines and Spartans meet here on Saturday, the state of Michigan will hold the NCAA attendance record for football, for basketball, and now for hockey. At the Big House covering the Big Chill, Katrina Hancock, Local 4.